Canada is often seen as a land of opportunity, known for its strong social safety nets, high quality of life, and a deep sense of compassion. People from all over the world dream of starting a new life here, believing it's the perfect place to build a future. But if you look a little closer, behind the shining image and the polished statistics, a different story emerges. A story of a quiet and often overlooked crisis. How can a nation that prides itself on being a compassionate, developed country allow so many of its people to live without a home? And what's really going on behind the scenes, beyond the numbers and the headlines? Welcome to Street Stories. Homeless, where we uncover the difficult truths that many would rather ignore. The crisis in our cities. Let's start with Vancouver, often called Canada's crown jewel. Can you believe this beautiful, vibrant city is in the middle of a homelessness crisis? By 2025, Vancouver will be pouring almost $1 billion a year into the fight. But thousands of people are still sleeping on the streets, huddled under tattered tarps. Imagine this. More than 2,600 people are on Vancouver's rain-slicked streets every night, a 20% jump since 2018. To put that into perspective, in a city of 2.6 million people, 1 in every 1,000 residents is facing the bitter cold without a place to call home. Their hopes are slowly fading into the fog. Despite a massive $950 million budget in 2024, tent cities have spread through parks like open wounds. Vancouver's stunning skyline hides a heartbreaking reality. Its most vulnerable citizens are being forgotten right in front of everyone. What's really driving this relentless increase? Is the system failing, or is the problem simply too big to solve? How can a city so rich in resources leave so many of its people behind? Stay with us as we face this difficult truth together. A nation in crisis, the housing nightmare. The dream of owning a home, a cornerstone of stability for many, is quickly becoming a fantasy in Canada. Cities like Toronto, with a population of over 6.4 million, are at the center of this housing crisis. According to the Canadian Real Estate Association, the average home price skyrocketed by 20% in 2021, reaching almost $600,000 USD. For countless Canadians, this isn't just a financial problem. It's a deep emotional one. The hope for a stable future is slipping away. There are many reasons for this. The Bank of Canada has raised interest rates, making monthly mortgage payments soar and pushing many potential buyers out of the market. In Vancouver, where more than 2.6 million people live, a severe shortage of new homes is making things even worse. On top of that, construction costs have gone up by 15% in 2023 alone. Foreign investment is also a big factor, accounting for more than 10% of real estate transactions in Vancouver and driving prices even higher. This leaves local families struggling just to compete. This isn't just about numbers, it's about real people making impossible choices. Take Sarah, a single mother in Toronto. For 3 years, she's been living in a tiny one-bedroom apartment, saving every single penny for a home she just can't afford. "I work 2 jobs, but the prices just keep climbing," she said, her voice heavy with exhaustion. "My daughter deserves a real home, but it feels like we're stuck." Sarah's story, which we shared on Street Stories, Homeless, is just one of millions that shows how hard work no longer guarantees a stable life in Canada. What would you do if your dream of owning a home became impossible? The housing crisis is changing lives and forcing people to the very edge of society. But the challenges don't stop there, the crushing weight of everyday life. As housing prices climb, the cost of everyday essentials is draining Canadians of their money. In Montreal, a city of 4.3 million people, food prices have jumped by 10% in the last year, according to Statistics Canada. The cost of utilities and services is also rising, with electricity in Ontario going up by 7% in 2024. For many families, these increases mean cutting back on life's simple pleasures, like vacations, eating out, or even buying enough groceries. Wages, however, tell a very different story. Since 2006, real wages have barely moved. A 2022 study showed a tiny 1.7% increase, while inflation was at 6.8%. This huge gap is leaving families in places like Calgary, where the average household income is $81,000, struggling to cover their basic needs. A survey from July 2023 revealed that 52% of Canadians are just $200 away from financial disaster. This is a stark reminder of how fragile their economic security really is. Meet James, a schoolteacher in Vancouver. Despite his hard work and dedication, his salary can't keep up with the city's rising costs. "I love teaching, but by the end of the month, I'm just scraping by," he confided. "I've started tutoring in the evenings just so I can afford rent." James's struggle, shared on Street Stories, Homeless, shows the quiet desperation of people who serve their communities but can't afford to live in them. How do you manage when every single dollar is stretched to its limit? The rising cost of living is more than just a financial strain. It's a blow to the spirit of the nation. And for some, it's pushing them toward an even darker reality: the growing shadow of homelessness. The streets of Canada's biggest cities are telling a worrying story. In Ottawa, with a population of 1.4 million, homeless encampments have become a common sight. Shelters are reporting a 12% increase in demand since 2021. In Vancouver, the homeless population grew by 20% between 2018 and 2023, largely due to rents being too high and incomes not keeping up. For people without a home, Canada's harsh winters, where temperatures in Edmonton can drop to 20 degrees below zero, turn survival into a daily fight. The reasons for this are clear. Skyrocketing rents and a lack of affordable housing are forcing people out of their homes. While some government programs have helped a few people, they aren't enough to solve the problem on a larger scale. In Winnipeg, where the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment hit $1,200 in 2024, many people simply can't afford to keep up. This has led to more and more Canadians living in shelters, tents, or on the streets. Layla, a former retail worker in Montreal, is one of those people. After she lost her job, she couldn't afford her $1,500 monthly rent and ended up in a shelter. "I never thought this would be me," she said, with tears in her eyes. "I just want a chance to start over." Layla's journey, brought to light by Street Stories, Homeless, reminds us that homelessness can happen to anyone, no matter how hard they try. What can we do to make sure no one is left without a home? The homelessness crisis is a clear call to action, but it's not the only thing putting a strain on Canada's social fabric. The impact of rapid immigration. Canada's immigration policies have long been a source of national pride, welcoming newcomers to build a diverse country. In Halifax, with a population of 480,000, international students contribute $1.2 billion to the economy every year. But recent increases, from 250,000 immigrants a year to a projected 550,000 by 2025, have outpaced the country's ability to keep up. This 3% annual population growth, the highest among all developed nations, is putting a huge strain on housing, food, and infrastructure. In Regina, where the population grew by 2.7% in 2023, the housing market simply can't keep up, with new construction falling 20% behind demand. The economy, with a GDP growth of only 0.5% last year, isn't growing fast enough to support this influx of people. Experts warn that without better infrastructure, housing inflation will continue, making life harder for everyone. The debate around immigration is complex. Newcomers bring energy and new ideas, but rapid growth without proper planning is leaving cities like Quebec City, where rental vacancy rates are below 2%, struggling to house everyone. While the government's recent promise to limit immigration offers some hope, the strain is still very real. This is Street Stories, Homeless, and we're committed to exploring every side of these challenges. How do you think immigration policies should balance economic growth and stability? The answers aren't easy, but the consequences are deeply felt, especially by those on the edge of society. A widening divide, inequality, and emotional toll. Beneath Canada's image of prosperity lies a growing gap between the rich and the poor. In Victoria, where the average home price is $850,000, the wealth gap is very clear. A 2022 report found that 14% of Canadians, more than 5 million people, live below the poverty line. While homeowners get richer from rising real estate values, those without assets are left behind, unable to share in the nation's growth. This inequality is taking a serious emotional toll. The World Health Organization has reported a 25% increase in mental health challenges among Canadians since the pandemic, with young people being hit especially hard. In Saskatoon, where youth unemployment was at 8.5% in 2024, young people are among the least happy in the world, ranking 58th in the World Happiness Report, even though Canada as a whole ranks 15th. The pressure of rising costs and a lack of opportunities is crushing their hope. For many, the struggle feels personal. A young engineer named Michael from Toronto had to make a tough choice. "I worked so hard, but I just couldn't afford to stay," he said. "Everything's so expensive, so I moved to the US for a fresh start." His story, shared on Street Stories, Homeless, echoes the feelings of a generation wondering if Canada can still offer them the life they were promised.